lives. Okay.
Now, screen. Okay. Okay, so now how did you go about having this Joshua Benson served?
So how would we go about it? It first started with finding out his address here in El Paso, and we had asked if he can be served here in El Paso.
Asked who?
Asked the precinct, the court, the constables here at your precinct.
You just give them an address and they serve whoever you tell them to serve.
Yes, sir. And they went up to the address and they asked for his ID, they asked for everything, and he was no longer there.
Okay, so you gave the constable an address.
Yes.
You had first served, attempted serve with a constable.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, and they went to that address you gave him and he wasn't available.
He was not available.
Okay, and so what was the next step?
The next step, we investigated a little bit. We asked around to see if he had ordered anything ordered as in like materials out here in El Paso. And they said he just he asked Floor and Decor, like the, what is it called? The retail store for tile. And they said he was no longer here in town. He had left. We had contacted a few of his customers to see if they ever heard of him.
How do you know his customers?
How do we know the customers? Because they gave us their numbers for further work.
How would his customers know to contact you to give you his number?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
You said his customers contacted us, correct?
We contacted the customers.
How would you know who are his customers?
Because we had done a few of their work for him.
You've done other jobs for him?
Yes, sir.
For Impact Residential?
Yes, sir. Bathrooms and kitchens.
Okay. What kind of work does Rick Rodriguez Construction do?
Remodeling, new construction, mostly residential and a few commercial jobs.
Okay. Okay, so then Impact, how many other jobs have you done for Impact Residential?
From the top of my head, a few would be like a good 8 bathrooms, maybe.
Okay, so you have a history.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
So yeah, so we had come into contact with a few of the customers, just the ones that we worked with him, and we just asked
customers that you work for to yourself, that Rick Rodriguez Construction worked for.
Yes, alongside with Joshua Benson, Impact Residential.
Okay.
And we just asked him if he heard from him, and a lot of them said he has not come by, they've heard nothing, and it was all gone. We had no contact. And we asked around. Well, as we asked around, we heard one of the customers stated that he left to Austin. And from there, I called a few process servers out in Austin, and I asked if it's possible to sue someone out there, or if we can do it the way that I did it. And he said, yes, of course, but I just need a name and address and, a little more detail about who he is. And so I called Armstrong, and I asked him, I was like, hey, you know what, is it possible if you can serve this, this guy named Armstrong, the process server that served Joshua Benson out in Austin?
Long Arm Process Service?
Long Arm, yes.
Is that what you mean by Armstrong?
Yes.
His name is not Armstrong, is it?
Let me search up his name, his business name. Yeah, Long Arms. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Long Arms process server. And he said, yes, of course. And I gave him his information.
What information?
Information. I gave him his full name, Joshua D. Benson, his name, address. Oh,
you don't have it.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
You don't have
no,
it.
We didn't give him an address. Sorry, I keep saying address. I'm sorry, I'm just really nervous. So we gave him the name. We gave him a picture. We gave him.
How do you have a picture of him?
He had a Facebook. And that's how I got his picture. Like that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make sure, this is it. Like this is what the guy looks like. I want to be 100% sure. Like I'll send you this picture, and then there was another picture where he used to work at, not work at. He used to do a lot of what is it called? What's the word? He used to get involved a lot with the church, and there was a picture on the church page, and I sent it out. And he said, okay, for sure. Let me just look him up. Do you have anything else? I was like, his last known address here in El Paso was the one that I gave the constable, the Bluff Creek apartments. And he's like, okay, well, give me a second. I'll look through. I think like a few weeks went by, and he's like, you know what? I found a guy. I found two guys, actually. I found one here in Austin and this address, and I found another guy here in El Paso. And I asked him, I was like, hey, you know what? Can you check to see if the Austin one matches like the description and the pictures? And he said, yeah, of course. He went up there. He talked to I think he just looked at him. I don't remember too well. He looked at him. He stayed there. I think he talked to him a little bit. He's like, you know what? I think he said he might be the guy, but he wasn't too sure. And then he left it at that. He's like, but I'll continue investigating. And I was like, okay, for sure. And then after that, he found a different address. And he said, I found his dad's address, his father's address.
Whoa. Which one are we talking about? The one in El Paso.
Oh, the one in Austin. Sorry.
So he found this Joshua D. Benson's father's address?
Yes.
Okay. What address is that?
Yeah, that address was the one that I wrote in the paperwork. Well, not the one that he wrote. The one that he wrote in the served papers, in the served
2000 Cedar Bend Drive?
Yes, sir. That one. That one. I just want to make sure 100% because
No, please.
Yeah. "113 Tangled Brush Drive, Menchaca, Texas, 786.
Wait, tell me that again.
I'm sorry. 113
Okay.
Tangled Brush Drive,
Okay.
Menchaca, Texas, 78652, Travis County.
Okay.
And he had talked to him. He went to the house and talked to the father, and I guess that's where they came into contact because I was told, hey, you know what? I found his dad. I found him, and we're talking to each other. I'm trying to get the paper served, and he's busy. He's in El Paso. Am I speaking a little too low?
No, there was a lot of interference there. Just for a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. And he started talking to me. He's messaging me, and he's telling me the process server was telling me, hey, I found the guy, but he's out in El Paso. He's out of town.
Wait, I'm sorry. You broke up there again. He's out. He's in El Paso. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, he said he's in El Paso because I'm not sure what the reason why he was in El Paso was. And I was like, okay, for sure. Or just let me know when you get it served. Send me the paperwork. I don't know what else I could have done for him to, I don't know, reassure that it was him for sure, 100%. And a day went by or two, and he's like, I got him served. Like I served him the papers, and I asked him, I was like, is that the guy that I sent you the picture of? And he said, yeah, of course. I was like, positive? He's like, yes. And so he sent me the paperwork, and that's when I submitted it through with them. And that's how everything went. That's where
I don't want to change my screen, but on the other case, the 17 CV 122 17 is it the same return, same address?
Let me check.
Yes, sir.
Let me check.
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, it's cool. You should check. Yes.
How old is the guy how is the Joshua Benson that you dealt with, your father dealt with?
He was about 40. He never really gave us an age. It was just from my knowledge, it was late 30s, early 40s. That's what I remember.
Judge, both citations were served at the 113 Tangled Brush
At the
Drive.
same time, does it show it on February 16th at 7:26 PM?
Yes, Judge.
No. Oh, yes, yes. 7:26 p.m.
Okay. And this process server, is he, I'm gonna call, see if he's available.
Please enter your authorization code.
This is John.
This is John Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence, this is Robert Pearson. I'm the Justice of Peace in Precinct 1 in El Paso County. And
Hey, sir.
I'm having a
How
hearing.
are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
I'm trying to figure this out on this Joshua Benson. Did Mr. Rodriguez, did he provide you a photograph of Mr. Benson?
He did. He provided two photos. One of them was from a professional, the LinkedIn website, kind of a professional headshot look. That's what it looked like. And then the other one was more casual. It was a photo, head and shoulders, of Mr. Benson in a swimming pool. But it was clearly the two pictures were clearly the same person.
Okay. And the person you served, did he match that picture?
Yes, sir. He did. He did. Unfortunately, what I think happened is I had first attempted to serve at a different address. I found a Joshua Benson at an apartment in Austin, and when I attempted to serve there, the gentleman that I talked to didn't look anything like the picture, but his name was Joshua Benson.
Joshua Daniel Benson.
And he worked retail, and he didn't know anything about any business in El Paso. And I believe that that's the person who appeared. I don't think anything was sinister. I think the summons went out to the wrong Joshua Benson. An honest mistake.
Well, how would we get the address?
Received the summons.
How would we get the Joshua Daniel Benson at Cedar Bend Drive? How do we get that address?
That address was an address that I came up with in due diligence when I was hired. Mr. Rodriguez, when he hired me, he explained that Mr. Benson that he had done business with, the one that he was filing a lawsuit against, operated out of El Paso, but that he also went back and forth between Austin, and he suspected that Mr. Benson may be moving to Austin. And so I started my diligence in Austin, and the first thing that I found was a Joshua Benson, just a common name, a Joshua Benson at the apartment. That's the same one that the summons went out to. But on my first attempt, I discovered that was indeed the wrong person. And so after one attempt, I moved on. And then I ended up continued my diligence, and I found an address in
Tanglewood.
In Manchac. I found an address that I suspected was Joshua, the real Joshua, our Joshua Benson's father's address. I suspected that was true, and so I made an attempt over there and left a door hanger. And it was after leaving a door hanger there that our Joshua Benson texted me, and we ended up exchanging text messages back and forth, and he was cooperative.
And so do you know his complete name?
I believe it's Joshua Daniel Benson.
Well, that's the full name of the gentleman that showed up in the hearing with a beard. He provided his driver's license.
Yeah. As I understand it, just from speaking with Mr. Rodriguez, the address that the summons went out to was the apartment and not the home. The apartment in Austin, but not the home in Manchac. And
Okay, well,
so
the
I can tell
one,
you 100% that apartment address is the wrong guy.
okay. So then my question is, how would we get that address though?
How did we get it?
No, how did the court get that address?
I believe it was because the complaint was written up with that address. And then when, because this was a pro se litigant, the address was never updated. It should have been updated, and I don't know exactly what went wrong with that, but it should have been updated with, and that 2000 address should have been taken off.
Okay,
And
on the petition, it has 2021 Bluff Creek Street, El Paso, Texas, is the address for Joshua Benson. And there's no D. Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
do you know that the Joshua Benson that you're serving, do you know his middle name?
I believe it's Daniel, Joshua Daniel Benson.
Why do you believe that?
Why do I believe that? I don't recall. I think it was because of, if I did, I don't remember where I found Joshua Daniel Benson. It must have been one of his social media.
doesn't he have a contract that has his proper name?
Let me check. I believe I do. I don't know where I got that name. Daniel.
Dan, do you know how we got that address?
The Bluff Creek.
No, I'm asking Mr. Garza.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see how I got it, Judge. I'm going through the case.
I can't find the that contract actually. I might have searched. I'm pretty sure I searched it up somewhere and I found it. It's Joshua Daniel Benson.
You know what, Judge, on March 28th, 2022, that there was an affidavit that the plaintiff signed, and it actually has that 113 tangled brush. So I don't know how it got sent, like the actual citations. Yeah, because for some reason, the citations actually had the 2000 Cedar Bend Drive. I believe that's the address that was given to the court. We didn't get it on an affidavit.
Okay, so there was a request for citation to be issued that Mr. Lawrence served, right?
Right.
And that citation, that has the Cedar Bend Drive on it?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that would mean that either, I don't know who requested the citation.
It had to have been the plaintiff, because I mean, we won't do it on our own.
Yeah, Mr. Lawrence, you didn't request, did you request a citation?
That's not my routine. I may have spoken to Mr. Rodriguez about the need for a citation, but I would not have requested that myself.
Okay, so here's what I'm understanding and what I'm surmising is that, we have no idea who Joshua Benson is or what his address is. So if a citation is requested, whoever requested it provided the name and the address. And if that 2000 Cedar Bend Drive is on the citation, that was provided by most likely Mr. Rodriguez, I would suspect, if it wasn't Mr. Lawrence, because we have no means of determining what address there is or Mr. Benson's address is. So that address had to be provided to us. We don't know that address. So it appears that a citation was requested. The address was put as was given as 2000 Cedar Bend. And so the notice of the default judgment was given to this Joshua Benson. And so he showed up, the Cedar Bend. So apparently there is another Joshua Benson, and I don't know exactly if his middle name is Daniel or not, at this 113 Tangle Brush Drive. But my concern now is there's no confirmation that I have confirmation that Joshua Daniel Benson resides at 2000 Cedar Bend Drive, apartment number 12108, and that's the wrong one. So if Mr. Lawrence, if you did indeed serve a Joshua Benson at this Tanglewood, we need confirmation that his middle name is D, and I don't know where we're going to get that from unless it's from you, Mr. Rodriguez, and then you could proceed. But you got a bigger problem in that you've told me under oath that the defendant that you did business with, or your father did business with, is Impact Residential LLC. So an LLC is an entity in itself, and that entity needs to be served, not the individual.
Okay.
I can, Judge, I can tell you that I did serve the correct person with both with service packs, naming him as a principal and also naming the corporation. There were two service packs. And I'm not trying to argue any other point, just that
Well, it would be on
the
your
corporation
return.
was served. The corporation and the principal were both served at the same time. And he acknowledged that that was his company. He acknowledged who he was. And I just don't think that he was ever sent the summons.
Okay, well, I haven't seen on any document on the return, the petition, anything that has the name Impact Residential LLC. I mean, if you can show me a document with that on it, I'd be happy to look at it. Ben, do you see anything in the other case with Impact Residential LLC?
Can you give me just a minute to look at my records?
Sure.
Okay, hang on.
Mr. Rodriguez, do you have any document that has Impact Residential LLC on it?
I actually do not.
I don't know how that could have been served if nobody provided the name.
Right. Understood. So I just wanted to ask to confirm like his middle name, Daniel.
Uh-huh.
How, I guess, how I find it, would it matter? I guess, do you understand? Because there's a website, it's not a website, it's actually like in El Paso. I'm pretty sure you heard about it. It's EPCAD,
Sure.
EPCAD, and it shows like people's old addresses, and it shows like who owns it and like a little bit more. Yeah, I actually found it, and his last address when we used to be in contact with him was 7729 Maple Landing Court. And I was able to look it up, and it actually comes out his full name and his age.
On El Paso CAD, it doesn't have an age on it.
It doesn't have a what?
On the, you're talking about El Paso CAD?
Yeah, I don't think it has age, but it does have like its full name.
Well, don't say that if it doesn't.
Sorry, it's because I found out the website and I thought it was EPCAD, but it's cluster maps. It says H40. I don't know if it's like a little too personal, but EPCAD, and it has 2019. Central. Don't see that. Okay.
Mr. Lawrence, have you found anything with,
I just checked my records and unfortunately I misremembered. Please forgive me. There were two service packs, but they were both naming Joshua D. Benson as the defendant. Neither one of them named the corporation.
yeah, the corporation is not named anywhere in the suit.
No, only the principal.
So, Mr. Lawrence, that makes me question your testimony, because you just stated he identified himself as the owner of.
He did.
Well, how would you know that name if it's not in any document?
It was. I believe it was. Give me just another minute to see. The only records that I just looked at were my affidavits. So when I went looking for him, his name was connected to the business during my due diligence, and that's why I asked him about that at his door. But let me see if I do have a written reference to the company. To the business during my due diligence, and that's why I asked him about that.
Okay, then, Mr. Rodriguez, I'm on El Paso CAD. I don't find any Joshua Benson.
Yeah, Benson, Marcella P. Benson. Here. No. No, it does not.
Do you?
No, I actually can't.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'd be very careful about what I say under oath.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something.
Completely understand that.
So do you have anything further to provide the court about this gentleman's name?
I do not actually. If I do find it like on my phone, how can I show it to you?
What do you find on your phone?
I don't know if it's like too. I don't know how credible it is. If that makes sense. I don't know if you would be able to take it.
How did you find it on your phone? What do you find on your phone?
Oh, I found his name,
Like
Joshua
in your
Benson.
contacts? Something you wrote in your contacts?
Oh no, none of my contacts. It's just Googling. I really am just Googling, and there's this website that just says cluster maps. I don't know if it's credible. That's a thing.
Well, give me the site. I'll look at it.
Yeah. It's just cluster maps. It's CLUSTRMAPS.com.
See, cluster maps.
Yes, sir. Unless I can.
People
No.
search?
I'm sorry. What was that?
Is it a people search?
Yes, sir.
I believe his LinkedIn also names the company.
Okay.
And that's the,
You believe it or does it?
I'm not staring at it right now, but I can look it up.
Mr. Rodriguez, you didn't mention
Yes.
anything. You said you gave him a Facebook photo.
Yes. The Facebook photo and the LinkedIn photo, I believe, are the same photo.
You didn't mention anything about LinkedIn.
I did not. No, sir. I'm just trying to remember as as much as possible.
That's how I remember too, Judge. The photos were the same. And so I made the LinkedIn reference because I recognized it as being the same photo. I almost have it, almost there.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Okay, all right. I found the LinkedIn profile with the correct Joshua Benson, and he lists himself as the owner and project manager for Impact Residential LLC.
Okay. And does it have its middle initial?
Not seeing a middle initial here. Not seeing a middle initial, sir, but this does match the photo that I was given, and is the same person that I served in Mancheck.
Okay. But we have yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Rodriguez, you don't have any confirmation that is, or any evidence that his middle initial is D, do you?
Do not. So yes, I do not.
Mr. Lawrence, you don't either. Is that correct?
I don't have anything right now, but if I was given a little bit of time, I could look a little deeper.
Okay.
Does the court want an image from this LinkedIn profile?
Sure, you can email it in.
Okay. And what email address can I send it to?
You send it to, what is it, B Garza at
Yeah, it's bgarza@epcounty.com.
No, it's not a .gov.
No,
EP and then counties written out .com.
bgarza@epcounty.com.
B as in boy, Garza.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm going to email a screenshot from the LinkedIn profile.
Okay. Now we're at the same point where I was before, that Impact Residential LLC has not been named in the suit or been served.
Okay.
And according to your sworn testimony, Mr. Rodriguez, and it should be your father,
Yes.
that is who is indeed, you allege is indebted to Rick Rodriguez Construction, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry for interrupting. Can I ask a question about that?
sure.
I noticed that when I was paging through the service pack, I noticed that a bill only had Joshua Benson's name on it and not the company name. It wasn't signed by Mr. Benson, but I thought it interesting that that the bill with the $9,000 claim was totaled underneath just the individual Joshua Benson.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
None of those were provided to the court. So, Mr. Rodriguez, do you have an answer?
They were not provided.
Your lawsuit just says they owes me money.
Yes.
Let me pull up your petition. One second.
Okay.
No, you can go ahead and answer. I'm gonna
I'm sorry, what was that?
You can go ahead and answer.
Oh, what was the question again? You said it wasn't provided, the amount?
Mr.
Yeah,
Lawrence is asking
Yeah.
that you provided some sort of invoice.
Yeah, yes, sir, I did.
and you
Uh,
gave Joshua Benson, not Impact Residential.
yes. I thought they were, I figured, no, I don't know how to put it in words. I had uploaded the documents with the invoices. So I'm not too sure if, well, I'm guessing now that, you guys don't have that invoice.
I do have an invoice, Rick Rodriguez Construction, amount 9,432,
Yes,
and there's no D on it. It says Joshua Benson, 7729 Maple Landing Court.
yes.
Okay. Who
Okay.
created that document and how's it come into play?
How does that come into play? I just thought it was gonna be proof, for like the bill, the invoice.
Did you create it?
Yes, sir.
So you created the document,
Yes, sir.
not Rick Rodriguez Construction.
He did not. But I guess, yes, I created it.
So you created it after the fact, just for the purpose of this lawsuit?
No, sir. It wasn't after the fact. It was before. It was, I think that there's a date on there. I can show, oh, yeah, I have an email where I sent it in.
April 13th, 2021 is the date on it.
Yes.
That's the date you created it?
Yes, sir.
When was the work done?
It was done during the end of 2020, during the winter.
So this is just a fabricated invoice.
Fabricated invoice. Can you explain fabricated?
When the work was done back in 2020, this invoice was not given to Joshua Benson.
The estimate was,
That wasn't my question.
okay,
My question, what you presented with this lawsuit
yes,
was not given to Mr. Benson back in 2020.
it was not, no, sir.
So it was fabricated for the purpose of this suit.
No, sir. It was not fabricated for the suit. It was given after the work was done.
April 13th, 2021,
Yes, sir.
you weren't dealing with Mr. Benson at that point in time.
Yes.
Yes, you were, or yes, you weren't?
Can you repeat the question?
On April 13th, 2021, were you in contact with Mr. Benson?
Yes, we were.
Okay. So why would you wait a year or 2 years to give him an invoice?
Because we first give him an estimate, and that's
Do
when
you-
he,
Do you have the estimate?
yes, sir. It's the same thing. Yes, I do have the estimate.
Okay, can you present that to the board?
Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and pick up. I believe that's Thunderbird.
Judge, I forwarded Mr. Lawrence's email to the JP1 Gmail.
Thank you. Okay. Owner project manager for Impact Residential LLC. You just take it up. That's okay.
Do I email it to you, or
I'm sorry.
should I email it to you guys or present it to the computer?
Sure.
Okay. To Ben Garza,
That's
right?
B Garza at epcounty.com.
B Garza. Okay, so, okay. Yes.
Okay, so I bet, thank you for the LinkedIn. That's the person you serve, Mr. Lawrence, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Look at the other piece.
Judge, and I just forwarded the email from Mr. Rodriguez as well to the Gmail account.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the estimate you gave is Joshua Benson as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe the problem is that you don't, that your father needs to be the one, this is his business, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because it sounds like you're not really too sure about what you're testifying to, because you said, you told me earlier that Impact Residential was the people you contracted with.
Yes, sir.
And your father's not able to testify because of why?
It's just not here at the moment. It's just me.
Okay, so September 22nd, 2020, you give an estimate. When was this work completed?
It was completed at the following year. It was worked on from that date on to all of the months after that, which is September, October, November, December, January, February, maybe up to March.
Okay,
And that's when we sent in, that's when we sent in the invoice of the amount he's paid. And then we kept sending him reminders of the amount he owed. And that's pretty much where it ended.
and you filed this suit in October of 19th of 2021.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me see the other clues.
What's your clip?
And do you have an estimate for the other case, the other?
Yes, I'm completely, yes, sir.
That's
Look.
Joshua Benson as well.
Yes, sir.
Again, no Impact Residential. Was there you said there was an estimate provided on that one?
Yes, sir. I'm going through it. 30821. This was the invoice.
On that one, you have Joshua D. Benson on your petition.
Yes.
Why?
To be quite honest,
And that has the Cedar Bend address.
it has a
So,
cedar.
yeah, on that petition, you have 2000 Cedar Bend Drive. So
Yes,
Mr. Lawrence must have provided you that address. And
Yes,
then
sir.
you went and you filed a second suit.
yes,
That's where this address comes in.
yes,
And that's where the D comes in.
yes. Okay, I see where the mistake is at. Completely see this.
So now after the information provided by Mr. Lawrence, then you put D in this address of this gentleman that's not the right person,
Yes. That's how it is. Let me keep.
where the problem is.
Yeah.
So you don't, other than what Mr. Lawrence provided, you don't have anything indicated that your Joshua Benson has the middle initial D.
At the moment, I do not.
Okay, so that, what it's sounding like now is that Mr. Lawrence did serve a Joshua Benson. And that gentleman is the one that's in the photo of the linked, which could possibly be the right defendant. But there's no indication that his middle name is Daniel. Correct?
Correct.
Either Mr. Lawrence or Mr. Rodriguez?
I don't have anything pointing to that.
That he has a middle initial
The
D?
only thing that I would say on that is that I did confirm his identity and the business name when I was in the doorway serving him, and he confirmed his name and the connection.
Are you saying, did he confirm the middle initial D?
Yes, he did. He confirmed his full name.
How?
I said, I'm here to deliver legal documents to Joshua D. Benson, and he stepped out, confirmed that that's who he is, I asked him about the company name. He acknowledged that he's the representative for that company. And then I hand delivered the 2 service packs to him.
Well, unless you have some information that shows his middle initial is D, other than him just answering to the Joshua D. Benson. I mean, I'm looking on the entity search of the Secretary of State, and Impact Residential is just a Joshua Benson. Oh, there's gonna have to be, you know, I'm not gonna potentially issue a judgment against a Joshua D. Benson when we know that there's one that's the wrong person.
Okay.
We don't have any written or any documentation showing that the correct Joshua Benson's middle name is Daniel.
Understood. And if I end up finding evidence of his middle name being D, Daniel, will I just send that to Benjamin if this continues to proceed?
Yep. Well, number one, on your petition, you have Joshua D. Benson with the address of the wrong gentleman.
Yes.
On your one petition, you have, hold on, let me get back to that screen. And you have Ricardo Rodriguez versus and Joshua D. Benson. This number 915996, well, that's a 915 number, that's in El Paso. And you have the address 2000 Cedar Bend Drive, 12108, Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Everybody on this Zoom and phone conference agrees that that's not the correct person, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Lawrence,
Correct.
Mr. Lawrence?
That's correct, Judge. The address is incorrect.
Okay. Well, I don't know what. And the Tanglewood is the correct answer, address for Joshua Benson. 1113 Tangle Brush, I'm sorry, Tangle Brush. Drive is the correct address for Joshua Benson.
It's a family residence. His father is the owner of that property, and we agreed through text messages and phone calls to meet there. So that home is not in the defendant's name, but we met there as an agreed
Okay, that's fine.
agreed location.
Okay, okay, so if well, I'm gonna need confirmation from, ultimately, it's Mr. Rodriguez's responsibility, or Rodriguez Construction, Rick Rodriguez Construction, to confirm the name of the defendant. And I'm gonna want written confirmation that the gentleman served at 113 Tangle Brush Drive, written documentary evidence that his middle initial is D or his middle name is Daniel. Otherwise, it's going to proceed and you're going to have to drop the Daniel, because I'm not going to proceed with a suit against a gentleman we know that's not the right person. Any questions?
No questions so far.
I don't have any questions. I'll continue my diligence to see if I can get a legitimate documentation with the middle initial.
Okay. Okay, thank you all. Unless anybody, Mr. Rodriguez, any questions?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay, thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence.
Thanks.
I'm going to end the hearing. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Actually find like an amended petition or something with that Austin address, or
Yeah.
you did?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't find it. I was all like
Right
going
here.
crazy looking for it.
All right, this one.
It was on the original petition?
Yeah, the-
Oh, so it was on the original petition. It
Yeah.
wasn't, the original wasn't here, right? Like it. did
So here's what I think happened. So he filed that other suit first. And
Mhm.
he didn't know. And then this guy went and found this Lawrence said, oh, I found him. He's at this address. So he files a second suit and he puts that address on it. And then we
Yeah.
think that's him.
I was looking at the first suit and the petition. I'm like, where is the amended petition?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the second.
Second suit.
suit. You know what gets me, what really chaps me right now is that the dad called me. He had a lot to say, a lot
really?
about the court, about, why wasn't my son given the chance to explain and all that stuff. And I said, why
Then he
weren't
doesn't
you
show
on
up.
there? He doesn't show up. He has a bunch of stuff to say to me on the phone. And I'm like, all right, well, where's your amended petition? You
Right.
need, and he's like, it's my company, it's my lawsuit.
Okay, so that's another thing we're gonna do. My problem in this case is I'm not gonna issue a judgment with anybody with a D in the middle,
Yeah,
because I think that process server seems like a nice guy, but he's just telling you what he wants you to hear.
right.
Because first he was saying, oh, I served impact,
Mhm.
and then I proved him wrong on that. No, you didn't. There's no, it's not
Yeah.
mentioned anywhere.
No, I get that.
And so then he said, well, he was confirmed himself as Daniel. I don't believe he did. He just went, are you Joshua Vincent? I said, yeah.
I just don't know why dad puts this guy on, he has no idea what's going
Right.
on. He's all like,
So-
oh, well, I guess.
So what I'm gonna say is, so when it comes down to this suit, if it goes forward, I'm gonna just remind me to require, you don't have personal knowledge of this. I'm not gonna listen to your testimony.
Mhm.
If you want to proceed this suit, your father's gonna veto.
It's his dad that filed the lawsuit, it's his dad's company, not him.
And the son kind of changed it too. He was kind of scared.
Definitely.
He was,
Yeah, he's the one that's a hothead. He started cussing at me once and I said,
Really?
you don't cuss at me. I said, I'm gonna hang up on you. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I said, do not cuss.
Yeah.
So you're calling the court. You're not, respect us. So
yeah,
I don't know.
good for
That's-
you. Thank you.
Yeah, it drives me nuts
all
that the
of them.
dad wasn't there.
Right, yeah, no, I agree. But that son was of a different, he was different demeanor today.
Today he was different, definitely.
And the process server kind of had an attitude, but he wasn't too.
Yeah, he's never given me a hard time, but he was just kind of like, oh, I can attest, because he was really confident about coming in to testify. And I asked these guys, do you want to testify? Give us a witness list and have them sign on. And then you had to call them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what they're gonna do, because they haven't jumped on an amended petition at all. Right.
Ooh,